Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Premier League show. Big game. There's a lot of big games, but the biggest game of the weekend was involving Manchester United and Liverpool. Loads of hype around the game. Some calling it the biggest game in the Premier League. Strangely, Sky calling it a derby.
Oh, they love it, don't they?
I'm not having that. It was a derby. And like I said, lots of hype. Always is when these two meet. There was talks of demonstrations and all this, and then United wheeled out Casemiro.
Yeah.
And that kind of changed tack slightly.
Yeah.
But the lads over on 888 have been having a discussion around the hype and putting their points across. Let's have a look at the clip.
There is no debate
There
between Manchester United and Liverpool.
What?
Manchester United are a bigger club than Liverpool Football Club
Go on, explain how.
in every aspect.
In what in every aspect, in
Yes.
terms of what?
In
Trophies?
terms of-
Trophy collection?
in terms of-
in terms of trophies?
Fan bases,
1 second, in terms of trophies?
history,
in terms of trophies?
in terms of if you
In
wanna do
terms of trophies,
what?
we have
Just-
more
what, do you want
trophies
European
than you.
trophies? Do you want
We have
Premier
more
League
trophies than you.
We are a
No.
bigger
We have
football
more
club.
trophies in our club than you have in your club.
But that doesn't,
Fact.
That doesn't mean you're a bigger football club.
We have more trophies
We've got a
than
bigger
you.
fan base than you globally.
Oh,
even still now.
oh. What does that mean?
It means that we're more well supported than you over. So even though you got more trophies, you're still not more supported.
You know what the definition of real big clubs is? Can I be honest with you? The real definition.
Not being able to
when
win
you,
the title
no.
since
When you
2013
talk
and
to the
still be
real
a big
big
club.
clubs, so when you talk to
real-
Los
that's what
Blancos,
I'm talking
real. When you talk to like the Real Madrids,
Yeah.
the Bayern Munichs, it's European success. Is the you know it? You can't even look at me. You look at me straight. That's the real definition of a big club. European success. It is 100%. It is
Around the world,
100%.
around the
Can I
world,
interject into that?
Fact.
though?
Around the
Very
world,
skillful debating. Very skillful. I like what
So I
you
done
did.
it. I done
he's got to use the best
Very
weapons in his
skillful.
armory.
The playlist, yeah. There you go. Off the playlist, get over and check the rest of that out. Where can you find it?
888 Sports YouTube channel. Get over there. Links in the description. Leave them a comment. Tell them we sent you. If you want to get involved in that absolute nonsense.
Talking about.
Who cares? Who cares? We're the biggest team. We're the biggest team. Shut up, children. Grow up.
It's a game of footy.
Go up.
Get
There's
on
people
with it.
who can't pay the gas bills. Who gives them monkeys who the biggest team is? Whoever wins the Premier League this season is the biggest team. Let's just say
Man
that.
City, the biggest team.
Let's just say
the
that.
champions. Yeah, end of. But there was a game after all that. And surprisingly for me, Manchester United beat them. They won 2-1. I'd seen United the week before at Brentford and they were absolutely diabolical.
They were.
Like properly abysmal. I know Liverpool haven't started the season brilliantly either. But I favoured Liverpool. I thought Liverpool be too strong. But then when we were in here, the team news come out, Liverpool's midfield, we did say, oh, that doesn't look a very strong midfield. But United ran out 2-1 winners, obviously, Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford, putting them 2 up before Mo Salah, as per. Got a goal back for Liverpool. But a great result for Ten Hag, and to turn it round a bit the way he did from Brentford to that game will have given United fans loads of hope, wouldn't it?
That's who, didn't he? At the end of the day, United have started the season appallingly and lots of pressure. Not on the manager, obviously on the players and obviously on the Glazers as well. Talk of them preparing to sell and exactly what the fans want. And you know, Liverpool on a Monday night, when they've not had a great start, they've got a lot of injuries. It's probably exactly what they needed. He left Ronaldo on the bench, he left Maguire on the bench, big call. They got into them straight away. They got into them. They had a go with them. They had a go with Van Dijk. They had a go with Alexander-Arnold. Really pushed all the buttons. You know, James Milner running around the pitch with the veins popping out of every part of his body. That's a big neck, that, by the way. That's a big neck. That's like a Formula 1 driver's neck, that, you know, to keep...
He's gone full Bayern Munich.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
He's gone full Bayern Munich.
And they just pressed, and I thought Martinez at the back was brilliant. He properly wound up all of the Liverpool players. He properly... It was a big game for him. And they got the goals right at the right time. They should have scored early. Actually, Elanga at the post, and he should have scored. Then they got the goals, a lovely goal, to be honest, by Sancho. Got the goal at the right time in the second half.
Strange piece of defending by Van Dijk.
Very strange, and also James Milner just sliding into someone's DMs. Van Dijk, big season for him. I think there's question marks over him at the moment, certainly from Liverpool fans, over just where he is physically doesn't look quite right. One thing I would say, if I have a defence for them, which clearly I haven't, but they do seem to be changing the person next to them all the time as well. That can't be helpful. Trent can't defend, that isn't helpful. Midfield's abysmal, that can't be helpful. But these are things we deal with week on, week out, being Evertonians. And United got the second goal. Interesting goal as well, because I did think, and I've been conditioned into this probably in the last 3 years, and thinking it was offside. But obviously the lines are thicker now. So that ruled that out. I did think it was going to get ruled out. And I am looking forward to when they bring this new offside equipment in, which is going to be used in the Champions League as well as the World Cup. So we're going to see in the Champions this new system of it's very much going to be like a computer, like a Hawkeye kind of thing of they'll know exactly when it leaves the foot and exactly where they are, and it'll means you don't have to draw lines anymore. And I think that's a big step forward. They got the goal, and last half an hour Liverpool got into it. United run out of steam. They got the goal, but they hung on, and huge win for them, and they went above Liverpool off the back of it.
Yeah, mad. Would have been, a lot of people were saying it was going to be the 3 defeats on the run, so they stopped the rot there with that result, didn't they? On to Saturday, the early game, Spurs played Wolves, and 1-0 win for Tottenham. Harry Kane after an hour with his first of the season, I think, wasn't it? And they've started well, haven't they, Spurs? Yeah. Started really well, they look quite strong.
Yeah.
Really.
And again, this was a game where Wolves went and Wolves played well, and they had chances, and defensively they looked good, but Spurs got that one opportunity off a set piece, and they took it, 7 points, having played Chelsea away as well. That represents a good start, and showing different ways of playing as well, and having been strong at the back. And
Wolves had 20 attempts.
Yeah, they've done well. They played well. I mean, they've took a point from their first 3 games as well. So, I mean, obviously they've had two away games, but of course they're building their squad as they're going along as well. So, be interesting to see how they get along this season. But big win for Spurs.
It was a big win for Spurs. Crystal Palace beat Aston Villa 3-1.
Yeah, good win.
Good win for them.
Good win. Gerrard's continuing to be under pressure, but no one really wants to talk about it. I don't know why that is. Maybe he's got mates in the media or something, I'm not quite sure.
It is a bit strange that he is under a bit of pressure, seeing a couple of rumblings. Interesting, but Crystal Palace obviously went above Villa with that. They'd lost the opening game to Arsenal, and they drew.
What did you think about the penalty in this? The handball?
Yeah,
I thought it was really harsh. I mean, Dean he's jumped for the ball. He's got his arm basically like that. It's like he's got his back and it's hit him. Man, where's he going to put his arm? I don't know. But there was another one in. There was one in the Leicester game. Exactly the same, but wasn't given his handball. Do you know what I mean? Like someone's kicked the ball right at someone's arm, and the arm was like across the chest, and it's. And that's not given.
You're always trying to get this, though, aren't you?
But that's the point, isn't it?
Shouldn't, because it should be a rule.
It should be a rule, shouldn't it?
But I don't know. Well, Palace done all right, haven't they? New players doing well. Everton and Forest through 1-1. Goodison.
Yeah, snooze fest.
Yeah, the less the better, really. But
what do you think of Forest?
I wasn't impressed.
No, I thought they were bang average.
I thought they were poor, really. I thought Everton controlled the game. I thought they had a good spell there just before they scored and a bit after it. But they just looked disjointed, and maybe in a couple of games' time, when everything's settled down for them, they get like Gibbs White in the side and that, they might be a bit better. But they just looked a little... I was disappointed in Everton because I thought Forest were really poor. Yeah. And Everton were poor, so poor game. Fulham 3, Brentford 2. Marco. Marco.
Big game.
Doing the business there. They've had a fantastic start, obviously. 2 draws, and then got the first win of the season. Mitrovic with a late header, winning the game. I mean, Brentford drew at Leicester, didn't they? Beat United, and then obviously beaten there. but I've always looked at threat, don't they look like they've got goals in them. But Fulham have started, you know, that's 2 home games. Got 4 points from the 2 home games, scored 5 goals in those 2 home games, so, and had obviously a 0-0 away. So they've made a really good start for a promoted side, haven't they?
And for them to take the lead early and obviously then be pulled back to 2-2 and then find the winner shows they've got a bit of character. And Mitrovic has been scoring, which is huge. It's going to be interesting. Really interesting for both sides, isn't it? What I like, Brentford are one of those teams where they just go out and play, don't they? It's like, you know, they don't seem to be too scared, bothered, worried. The expectations are work hard and you've done your bit, and that's positive, isn't it? And Fulham, they've got Mitrovic, and it's funny, isn't it? Because he's a player that a lot of people looked at and said never thought he was good enough, but he's bounced up and down. It might just be that again another year of playing football and scoring a lot of goals. I think there was a lot of scepticism him coming up, even though he scored a record amount of goals in the Championship. There was a lot of scepticism. We won't do anything, and it's like, well, surely he's going to be full of confidence.
He hasn't done it the other 2 times. That's
no, I know, but that's the point, isn't it? We often forget that people learn as they learn from experiences, and going scoring a lot of goals and then understanding maybe because what you've learned from last time being in the Premiership, understanding what you need to tighten up on, or understanding what you're not going to be good at. And I think as long as they throw a certain ball into the box, that lad's going to score goals because he attacks the ball so well, especially at the back post against fullbacks. So it will be interesting watching his progression this season. I don't think he's going to be score the kind of goals he got last year, but certainly in the air he's such a threat.
He is. Leicester against Southampton, and the 2-1 to Southampton. Leicester took the lead. James Maddison, the free kick. Didn't know whether the keeper should have done better, but whipped it round, and then Che Adams come off the bench to grab a brace and win it to put Brendan under
more pressure.
Real pressure now.
Been a very weird summer, hasn't it? I think we spoke about this before. That the whole thing's just gone completely under the radar. What's going on at Leicester? FFP seems to be right up to the point. They've got a lot of players who are due new contracts, and it's can they sign them? That's led to obviously people like Tielemans wanting to go. Fofana wants to go. He's not going to be available this weekend as they play Chelsea. He's not in the right frame of mind. Does selling him give them enough time to reinvest the money? Where does that leave Brendan Rodgers? And also you're getting less out of Jamie Vardy. You know, Maddison has stepped up, but it's a very, and obviously Schmeichel, the captain, has left, so it's a very it's
looking a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
They took 1 point from their opening 3 games, and in that 1 point they were winning 2-0.
Yeah, they were,
and blew it. So not a good start for them. They go to Chelsea obviously this weekend, so could get tougher for them. Then in the evening game, Arsenal went to Bournemouth and duly won 3-0. Comfortable win.
Started very well, haven't they?
Odegaard with a brace and William Saliba with a great goal. Whipped it into the top corner.
It is interesting, isn't it? You know, I don't know what you think about this, but they've started really, really well. But I find it interesting that as the season started, obviously the Amazon documentary has been on at the same time. So it gives a lot of people a lot of ammunition to talk about them. I know it's a year down the line, but it is an interesting thing, isn't it? When you're, and I think Mikel Arteta has been asked questions about that, like, seen you this week in the doc doing this and that, and he's like, well, that happened like a year ago. But it becomes very present, and it shows the journey to where they are now, and I think that from their point of view, that is a positive thing. But it must be weird for him being asked those questions and having to justify certain things that happened ages ago. It's just a weird little paradox that I find that very, very interesting. But you can see where they are now because of the development that happened in from the season and things that went on behind the scenes and the Aubameyang stuff and all that. So it's just a weird juxtapose that I find that very interesting. But you haven't watched it, so
nope. no interest. But yeah, but they've started brilliantly on top of the league. So played 3-1-3, so fair play to them. Bournemouth obviously won on the opening day, but have lost the last two. Go to Liverpool this weekend, so no easier for them. On Sunday, Leeds spanked Chelsea 3-0.
Yeah.
Mendy given Leeds the biggest helping hand he needed. You know, and then you go behind at Ellen Road with the crowd, the real tough place to play, and Rodrigo flashed the header in to make it 2-0. You know, and the third goal come from Jack Harrison before Koulibaly was red carded with 6 minutes to play, and a brilliant result for Jesse Marsh in very tight, stretchy jeans around the...
Yeah.
And he had come pelvic thrusting going on as well from Jesse.
Yeah.
As well, so fair play to him, giving it the beans on the line.
Yeah. It's annoying, the whole Leeds thing and the American thing, I just find it just grates on me. I don't know why, it just
Because he wanted that to be us.
But the whole thing just grates on me though. It really, really does. It really, really does. It just, yeah. But what I would say is Leeds did what Everton, a functioning Everton side should have done on the first game of the season. Chelsea there for the taking, and Leeds done that high pressure.
Who'd have said though if the keeper would have done that?
No, I know.
Give us a goal.
No, I know, but that's
won.
the difference is though. I think the difference is because of the players Leeds have got, and the difference with Everton on the first day of the season is Leeds had players who were prepared to force those kind of mistakes. Whereas on the first day of the season for us, when the goalie had the ball, I imagine the nearest player was 20 yards away because we didn't have a centre forward. And that's the difference. That's the difference when you've got the players that you wanted early on, and they're all settled in and they're all part of the team. And Leeds just went on and blew them away and used.
Chelsea had 61% of possession, more shots than Leeds. Didn't take the chance. I mean, Chelsea could have been 2 or 3-0 up before they conceded the goal, but. You go behind, goals change games. After that, Leeds were brilliant and how they played, and that's a great win. 7 points, brilliant start for them.
Good start.
West Ham 0, Brighton 2, another defeat for the Hammers. 3 straight defeats. Brighton, great win for them. McAllister with a penalty, and Trossard running through and stroking it beyond the keeper.
You just said there, goals change games, and up to the penalty, I think West Ham were doing really
nice,
well.
yeah.
And then once the goal went in, and West Ham are, seen in the Premier League, have started the season struggling for goals. I think what's good for West Ham is they've played the Europa League games and they've scored a few goals and been able to play a few players, and that I think will accelerate those players into the Premier League, give them that little bit of time. But they are struggling at the moment to get those goals, and I think once it's difficult with a team like Brighton because they use the ball so well. And they've got good energy, and they've played in the second half, but counter attack, and Trossard scored the goal, and 2-0, good win for them. Again, good start. 2 away wins and a home draw against Manchester United, Newcastle, and West Ham. That's a really, really good start of the season, that for Brighton, and they'll be looking obviously to continue that. They won't be looking this season of having any issues at the bottom half of the table. They'll be pushing for the top half.
Yeah, great results. And then obviously the final game, Newcastle Man City. City took the lead through Gundogan, and then Newcastle raced into a 3-1 lead. Almiron, Callum Wilson, and the brilliant free kick from Kieran Trippier put them 3-1 up, and then Haaland and Bernardo Silva, 2 goals in 3 minutes, back to 3-3. And then City should have won it in the end. But brilliant performance by Newcastle to take them all away. City finished with 69% possession, 21 attempts at goal, 10 on target. So Nick Pope getting Newcastle a point, but great results for Newcastle.
Yeah.
And City, good result for City at 3-1.
Yeah, a 3-1, of course, yeah.
But missed the glorious chance of winning injury time, didn't he? But, they'll be looking at Liverpool and thinking, well, we're 5 points ahead of them already after 3 games. I don't think they'd be that concerned with Arsenal right now. Because it's whether Arsenal can stay the course and Spurs, but for them to grab a point at 3-1 down. And another goal for Haaland.
Yeah, and obviously the equaliser of the ball from Kevin De Bruyne was unbelievable. It's I was thinking before this game, this could be very, very tricky.
I thought Newcastle would beat them, to be honest.
I thought it could be very, very tricky. And I think City can do that, don't they? Sometimes they're playing one gear and think everything's going to be all right. Then Newcastle obviously got the goals and it was like, right, we've got to go up a gear. And they showed they could, just not enough to get the winning goal. But it's going to be difficult for people to play Newcastle this season. They obviously lost Wilson now with an injury, but have obviously brought in what
Alexander Isaac.
yeah, who would be seen as
60 million,
his replacement. So
going to be a tough place to
it's
go.
a weird one though, isn't it? Are you disappointed as a Newcastle fan being 3-1 up? Are you disappointed that you never got the win? It's
Before
a big
the
opportunity.
game, you'd be going 3-3
Yeah.
today, but 3-1 up, you're thinking we'll win this. But obviously, 2 goals in 3 minutes with half an hour to go. The momentum's back with City then, so to get a point is a good result really. But Isaac's a good signing for them. He'll give them something different. You know, when you look through the Newcastle side, it's still very workmanlike.
It is workmanlike.
But Eddie Howe's managed to create a togetherness. The fans are obviously, when they're on top of you, make it a really tough place to go.
But I think what they've got is a
great
spine.
start
They've
for
got
them.
a good spine. No,
Strong spine.
they've got a good
Got
spine.
Botman in, haven't they?
Keeper
You know,
is
Bruno
a good
Guimaraes,
shot stopper.
keeper's a good
Bruno
shot stopper.
Guimaraes, and now they've got the striker. So they've got a really good spine. They've got a little bit of experience in there as well, and like Trippier, who's worked out to be a good signing. Yeah, they're
Unbeaten so far.
they're creating a stable side. So, you know, and then they'll try, obviously, as they go forward, they'll try and build off that. So, yeah.
Looking ahead to this weekend before we finish, Southampton, Manchester United, 12:30.
Tricky that.
Brentford, Everton, Brighton, Leeds, Chelsea, Leicester, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Man City, Crystal Palace. They're all at 3 o'clock.
Palace have got a great record.
They have
haven't
got a
they?
great
Yeah,
record there.
that will be an interesting one.
4-0 City. No, they have got a really good record, Palace. Arsenal, Fulham at 5:30. I imagine Arsenal will win that. But Fulham will be confident going there. And then on Sunday, Villa, West Ham. Basement battle. Wolves, Newcastle, and Forest, Spurs.
Interesting.
It's the 4:30 game. So, some big games this weekend. Big games.
Not many.
Not like top
knockout
things,
games,
but like
but,
games
yeah.
where you're looking and going, oh, that, like certainly like Villa, West Ham. Pressure on both managers there, isn't it?
Leicester, if
And
they get
Leicester,
beat at
if
Chelsea.
they get beat at Chelsea, 4 defeats.
But then if Leicester get something Tuchel's a little bit,
Tuchel's on dodgy canal.
who knows?
There you go. Literally anything could happen.
Anything.
Anything. Will a striker score for Everton? That's the big question this weekend. That is it. Make sure you check out 888 Sport.
The playlist.
The playlist. Oh, I was just going to get, but the link is in the description. Get over there, watch the rest of that. Listen to the nonsense that they're coming up with.
That was nonsense.
It was
That
just
was the
ridiculous.
utter nonsense.
Who's got a better...
We're bigger. No, my mum is bigger.
Who's got a bigger... Does anyone
Pardon?
say my mum is bigger?
Maybe.
It's a strange thing to finish on, but
Well,
there you
might
go.
be.
See you later.